the CBD issue in Ohio. Some of you may or may not know Ohio MMJ and the Board of Pharmacy just sent a letter out. And the letter basically says we've had a lot of questions about CBD on its legality. And the letter states that CBD is not legal. And that is true from their point of view. Okay. The MMJ board and the pharmacy and all that's linked up together, they are policymakers. And they're going on their policy that any CBD products that are extracted from marijuana or medicinal cannabis can only be sold in the dispensaries, which is nothing different than the DEA's view on CBD. If you ask the DEA whether CBD is legal, they will say no, because their view is that CBD is extracted from medical cannabis, what they call marijuana. And so that is their legal view of CBD. What they don't clarify, and the thing about this letter that was just sent out by the MMJ board in Ohio, is they separate hemp-derived CBD from marijuana-derived CBD in the letter. There's parentheses around it. Okay, so they say CBD, and then in parentheses, the letter clearly states hemp or marijuana-derived. So they're clarifying that there are two different kinds of CBD. In the same letter, they only go on to tell you their definition of medical CBD, because that's what they regulate. Okay, the dispensaries in Ohio are regulated by this board. They're not lawmakers, they're policymakers. Okay, so this isn't law. This is the one thing that I want to be clear on in the state of Ohio. CBD supplements have not been made illegal by the state of Ohio. Anything extracted from marijuana is still illegal in the state of Ohio. There's no different there. If I was extracting the CBD from what the government calls marijuana or medical cannabis, is what I count, because it's all cannabis, then of course that would be illegal and can only be regulated by Ohio's MMJ board and pharmacy. Now, like I said, this affected Mary at Tohi because she is a licensed massage therapist. So she got a letter, and this letter is even more confusing because they refer to it as hemp oil and CBD, which they can't make hemp oil illegal. It's the hemp food, and I already mentioned earlier that we sued the DEA to make hemp food legal 10 years ago. So they can't actually make hemp oil illegal. And then they don't clarify, the CBD part of it. And so it's very confusing, and they're doing this on purpose. And, I will wholeheartedly admit that Cleveland.com is only covering half of the story because they don't even understand what parentheses mean in a letter, which I find very difficult to believe. But it didn't take me very long once I looked at the letter to realize that they, in fact, do differentiate between the two. Legal CBD, the CBD products we sell and have been selling for 7 years plus now. Before we started growing, CBD was imported. So it came through customs. The government allowed it in. It was an industrial hemp byproduct then, as much as it's an industrial hemp byproduct now. So if you are growing your industrial hemp under what I mentioned earlier, the 2014 industrial hemp section of the Farm Bill, federal Farm Bill, through a Department of Agriculture in your state or School of Higher Learning, then that CBD product is 100% legal. Anything that's being grown under those circumstances is 100% legal. They're supplements. We don't give medical advice in the store. If you walk into a store and they're selling supplements of any sort, and they're giving you medical advice, that is not legal. I'm not a doctor. We don't employ doctors. And so, that's part of the confusion with the discussion when it comes to customers, that confuses a lot of customers, is that again, we can't give medical advice. We can tell you how other people use it. We can use testimonials. Like I said earlier, I use the cream on my back when my pain acts up a little bit. We use the tincture for anxiety, both in me as a human, and and our dog. It's I joke, this is the second time things have happened with the CBD industry, but with these announcements in the CBD industry, I have to double my intake of CBD because it makes me anxious. And so, it is what it is. But that's the difference. Nothing has changed. If you are selling anything in a store that's been extracted from marijuana, I don't care what it is, then of course it would be illegal. If you are selling anything in a store that's all natural and once again a supplement extracted from legal purposes, then it's legal. We're going to see how that goes down. I don't know. This board doesn't have any law enforcement, and so they can't enforce any laws. So to speak, they don't carry badges or guns, and so it's going to be local law enforcement, or if they catch on to it, we'll see, because they're going to have to charge that person with marijuana possession, and then they're going to go to court and find out that particular product tested negative for THC, low enough that it's not a marijuana product, and then all of a sudden, once again, whatever, it's no different than busting somebody with a box of hemp crackers and saying those are illegal all of a sudden, but there's no THC in them. And that's the thing with CBD. It's all the 0.3% or less THC by dry weight when being grown. And so I hope that clarifies with everybody. I know that there's a lot of places in Ohio that are trying to figure it all out. Yeah. And so we're going to keep doing what we do. I wholeheartedly 100% believe that we are not doing anything illegal. Doesn't mean they're not going to show up. They're selling. There's a CBD kiosk in the mall here, and so if they're really going to start doing something about it, that's going to be tough on them. It's going to be tough. Yeah. So there you go. There's my clarification. Yes. There is a tale of two CBDs. There's marijuana derived or medical cannabis derived, and there's industrial hemp. One can be regulated through any type of dispensary in any state. The other is 100% legal for anyone to sell and possess.